My wife was 9 months pregnant when the bleeding began. This wasn't the kind of minor scare you see in movies or hear about from friends. This was sudden, sharp, and terrifying. I remember her clutching my hand, knuckles white, eyes wide with fear. The ride to the hospital felt endless. Every red light stretched out like a cruel reminder that time was no longer on our side. My mind raced, but I kept my voice steady, repeating that everything would be fine, that we were in the best hands. I couldn't let my panic show. Hers was already palpable. The emergency room smelled of antiseptic and urgency. Nurses moved with precise efficiency. Doctors spoke in clipped, clinical tones. Through it all, I stayed focused on her. I held her hand as they wheeled her in, feeling her tremble under my grip. She whispered my name, small and scared. I told her softly, "You're strong. We'll get through this." Then the doctor arrived, a stern figure, clipboard in hand, expression measured. He didn't sugarcoat. "We need to act fast," he said. "This isn't routine. There's risk to both mother and child." For a moment, the world seemed suspended. My mind scrambled to catch up, while my heart fought to remain steady. I nodded firmly and stayed at her side, because panic would help no one. Not her, not me. I needed to be the anchor, steady even as the ground felt like it was collapsing beneath us. They moved quickly, wheeling her toward the operating room with urgency that left no room for hesitation. Outside, I clasped my hands, taking shallow but measured breaths. I could hear machines beeping, staff voices muffled behind the doors, and her soft gasps as they prepped her. Every second stretched endlessly, but I forced myself to remain calm, repeating silently that this was temporary, that we were strong, that we would make it through. My mind drifted to quiet, tender moments of her pregnancy, her hand resting on my chest as she smiled at our baby's heartbeat, laughter over late-night cravings, whisper hopes for the future. And now, everything hinged on this single moment, the precision of strangers and the resilience of the two people I loved most in the world. Finally, the doctor emerged, expression unreadable, clipboard tucked under his arm. "Both mother and child are stable," he said. Relief washed over me in overwhelming waves. I nodded, voice stuck in my throat, and moved aside as they wheeled her back into recovery. She was pale and exhausted, but alive. And our baby, our child, was safe. I caught her eyes and gave a firm, reassuring squeeze of her hand. Words weren't necessary. The crisis had passed, and the stillness afterward felt almost unreal. Even in that calm, I could feel the weight of what had just occurred. Moments like these leave marks invisible to the eye, scars that settle deep in your chest. I stayed silent, holding her hand, watching our baby sleep peacefully in the bassinet beside us, realizing how fragile life truly is. One decision, one heartbeat, one moment can define everything. As adrenaline faded over following hours, reality settled in. I watched her sleep, her hands lightly resting on my arm, and reflected on life's fragility. No matter how carefully we plan, no matter how steady we try to be, some moments are simply beyond control. And yet, in those moments, how we respond shapes everything. When she finally woke, exhausted but smiling weakly, I kept my voice calm and steady. "You're okay," I said. "Everything is okay." She tried to laugh softly, tears brimming in her eyes, and I nodded once more. Words weren't needed. The silence carried everything: relief, gratitude, love. We had faced the worst together, and we had survived. Holding our baby for the first time, I realized life's most profound moments often arrive without warning. They demand clarity, calm, and presence. Panic does nothing. Fear achieves nothing. Only focus and quiet strength matter. I stayed by her side the entire night, alternating between holding our child and sitting quietly beside her. There were no dramatic declarations, no sudden realizations, just a steady awareness that we were together, and that was enough. In those quiet hours, I understood what it truly meant to be present, to anchor someone in the storm, to be calm amid chaos. Life doesn't always offer second chances. Sometimes it demands everything you have in that moment. In that hospital room, with both of them safe, I knew I had given exactly what was needed. That was enough.